I'm Sue Oliver, and I am a Passions and Possibilities coach. I work with individuals to support them in creating pay-it-forward businesses, and I am on a mission to prove that when you do what you love and give back, the rest does follow.
How do you define success?
Success for me is when I am doing what I love and it's in an area that I'm really good at. So that overlap of doing what I love and being great at it. And so success is really about great relationships, being healthy, feeling free, all the qualities that have really nothing to do with money or finances per se. That's part of it, but it's such a really small part of it.
Where did your inspiration come from?
Well, when I was about 19 or 20, I was in love with horses and I loved the French language. And I wanted to be a French professor. I wanted to move to France and I wanted to train horses. And I heard somebody say, you can't make money at that. And at that moment, I made a decision about my life. And I didn't know what I wanted to be because this is what I loved. And so I took the road less traveled, or more traveled, I should say, the road more traveled, and went and got my MBA and moved into the corporate world. And I put away my saddle, I sold all my riding gear, and I stopped speaking French. And so my inspiration comes from the idea of being back at that point when I made that choice of selling out, I call it selling out, on my passions. And so I really want to be the person that supports individuals at that juncture and giving them the opportunity and the choices for choosing passion and not selling out like I did. That's my inspiration.
How did you move from idea to something actually succeeding in the market?
Well, I use the analogy of riding horses and jumping horses because it's the idea of throwing your heart over the fence first. And so I tend to be a perfectionist, so rather than wait till I had everything, all the I's dotted, T's crossed, and everything perfect, I started going out there and letting people know what I was doing in the area of coaching people who want to make a difference, pay it forward, and thrive. And it was really about walking my talk and just being out there and doing it and finding clients and not waiting till I had the perfect business plan. I did a plan, but I didn't wait till I had everything the way I thought it had to be, especially how I learned it in corporate America, where I had to have the plan, I had to have everything all perfect. And so I just moved forward in faith. And as I moved, all of a sudden, the people, the resources, everything started to move along with me by being in action and by being in communication with other people out there. I think that's the way I describe it.
How did you organize your team?
Well, it's not quite organized yet. It started. We've got a group, a board of directors, because I have a nonprofit now that is really about this work, not just a for-profit. And I started out by looking at who was really excited about the idea. When I would talk about it, who really lit up and who really said, wow, that's great, how can I help? Of course, I went out there and asked people if they could help, but it's really the group of people, the 2 people right now that are on my board and the other people that are coming on board, that they're just the biggest cheerleaders. And they light up whenever I talk about the idea of supporting people and being what they can be in their passions and making a difference. So just finding out those people that resonate, and not people that are just like me. So I was really open to having people that had different views and also different personalities so that we could get different perspectives into this area, because I didn't want it to be really just about me.
What would you have done differently?
I would have started way back when I had the idea, and this idea, a long time ago, I'd say about 10 years ago, and I just put it aside, and I thought it was something that was, that was not mine to do. It was too big or something that wouldn't make money, and it didn't make sense. It wasn't logical. It wasn't realistic. And looking back at that point when I had the idea, the burning idea, I now know that those kinds of things don't go away. And really paying attention. So if I had it to do over again, I would go back and really have listened more deeply and clearly to that siren call of following my heart and my passions into this area of making a difference in this way.
What makes a great entrepreneur?
Listening to your heart. I think that the entrepreneurs I know that are the greatest are really, really expressing creatively and just, boom, who they are authentically and what they love, and listening to that and being that in the world just vibrantly and exuberantly. I think that makes a great entrepreneur.
What role did education have in your success?
That's a tough one because I think that out my mouth would be not much, and that's really not true. I would say that my education has provided a framework for critical thinking. I think that is important in taking any idea and bringing it into into production. And so I look at my MBA and I look at the aspects of business analysis, competitive analysis, all the things that take an idea and put it into form. And I'd have to say that if it weren't for my education, I'd probably be flying around with all these really great ideas and none of them would be happening. So I'd have to say that that's allowed me to not only analyze the idea, but to actually implement it in the world. It would have taken a lot longer to do it without my education.
What's the most important question we didn't ask you?
What my biggest passions are. My biggest passion absolutely is animals. I love rescuing old dogs. I love wildlife. I love animals of all kinds. And ultimately at this point I'm wondering how I can incorporate them into young adults making a difference and thriving at what they love. And believe me, I'm finding a way because that's it. So I would say they're my number one passion. I also have a passion for meditation, reflection, quiet space, and inspiring others. But animals, they're at the top of the list.